just the thought of thinking through your parenting goals. Like I told you, Derrick, I wish two things that I wish somebody had told me way earlier. But the thing is, it's never too late. So once you realize it, you start. One is just being purposeful and intentional and not sweating the small stuff. Always asking the question, what's the worst thing that could happen if I allow this to happen? If it has long-term, horrible, negative implications, absolutely, strictly parent on that. But if it's something that has almost no impact on a child's future, there's choice. Let the child, develop wings and grow, so being intentional, purposeful in that, and then integrating your life and your work. That's the other thing that's hard, especially for mothers. I mean, the studies are out there. Mothers do, in many, many households, mothers have 2 or 3 jobs. And one of those is just the home, right? You finish your work at work, and you get home and you have a whole other day to go through, right? Just homework and laundry and dishes and just sports events for the children and all of that. So just finding your team.
When Big Daddy leave out of here, hold your right hand up. Big Daddy wants the bar to be passed from my hand because I'm gone home to live with the Lord. It's gonna be in your hand. It'll be left up to you to tell your children and your children's children that I got Tulsa in my hand, and I'm going to encourage you to move on and keep the dream alive of my granddaddy and the Martin Luther King. There's the hope.
My kids know we have, but they don't know what we have. Now my kids are older. I'm having more conversation with my teenagers to kind of let them know about how to handle money, manage it. Everything is an opportunity. I gleaned from my experience off the chance when it shows up. So everything is led by example. So for me, if I always went after the flashy stuff and always kind of talked about or bragged about the name brand this, name brand that, then I'm leading my kid down that path of being exactly what you talked about. I don't do that. What they hear me talk about is going to be about what I actually need and then the things that I want. But if I want something, I'm already explaining to myself that, hey, if I want something, I need to first make sure it's not going to harm my family or hurt my family in any kind of way just because I want it. I think it really starts with what you show. Because if all of a sudden you're all about just the name brand this, you have to be careful. Your kids are going to idolize that, and that's what they're going to want. So whatever you say is going to mean nothing to them because that's what they saw you do. And so that's one of the things I share with my families as it relates to just behaviors. Kids are very smart very early. So just like a 6-monther, 9-monther going into that 12-month, 15-month age, and they can hold up a phone and almost mimic everything you do and unlock phone apps. The thing is, because they're watching everything you do. It wasn't like I had a secret key of nothing. Actually, it was hard as crap, man. That was part of the reason why you guys really didn't hear too much from me, because it was a lot of times where going through medical school, missing certain little key things of little first steps and first words, it humbled me to a point where it was like, hey, I'm doing this. I may not see that end result just yet, but it was a great motivating tool because when I did get home and I was able to see my kids' faces, it reminded me and reset me. Mm-hmm. It allowed me to be able to kind of say, hey, this is where it all means something. And so, I look back at that, and it was a lot of jokes you guys gave me. I thought about that. You guys was joking that I got like 10, 12 kids and stuff. But technically, we got blessed with the opportunity to have children. We wanted 4, we got 4. But I look at it, it got me through a lot of tough times as it relates to going through school, making paths for myself while at the school I was attending, and just kind of really staying grounded.
In the bed is not your way to success.
Right.
Sleeping late is not the way to success. So he showed me that you got to get up early and you got to grind. And that's stuck with me. And that's been a life lesson. And no matter what I've gone through, like I've had my setbacks in school and I've had my struggles. But like you said, I never planned to go back. So I never had a safety net. I'll put it that way. It was only going forward. It was plan A. It wasn't plan B or C. So when you put that kind of, your plan is not to go back, it's only go forward, then you're forced to kind of keep moving, and you got to struggle, or you figure it out as you go. But you know that no matter how much you struggle, it's just putting one foot in front of the other, and you're stepping it out, and you're trying to make it work. And so that's a lesson that I've learned, and it stuck with me, that, you just got to figure it out, but never stop moving forward.
This test was taking over my life. So I had to do like the emergency broadcasting system. It's only a test. I had to start telling myself, it's only a test. So no matter what you're going through in life, whether it's an actual examination or it's a test in life, it's literally only a test. That test didn't know anything about what I've been through to get to that point. That test didn't know anything about the fact that I was already able to take care of patients and do surgery. It's only a test. So I had to literally shift my mindset to be able to get to the point to be able to pass that test. And thank God I was able to overcome that. So I would like to share with you some of the strategies that I had to use to overcome that test. Not only that test, but many other tests that I face in life. So 3 things. I have coaching, I have community, and I have confession.
You are enough. No matter where you're coming from, small town, inner city, poverty, whatever it may be, small school, Ivy League school, you are enough. You already have everything that you need to obtain whatever goal you have in place. What you're responsible for is now doing the hard work, or doing those steps that nobody else really wants to pay attention to get you to where you want to go. But you are enough, and I want you to know that, because many times early in my career, I felt like maybe I don't belong here, or I felt like, maybe I didn't have all the qualifications that other people had. And that affected the way that I perceive myself in these spaces and places. So I would tell myself, number 1, you are enough. I would also tell myself to make sure that I'm taking full advantage of all of the opportunities that are around me. Many times I was being an introvert, I did not want to approach other people to ask for help. I didn't want to approach other people to introduce myself, or even when I saw an opportunity that I knew that would fit well with me, I didn't want to go out of my comfort zone to approach that person, or because maybe fear of rejection. I think many times in life, we put so much emphasis on achieving it or winning that goal or whatever it may be, that we fail to really think past that. I remember starting out in my career, the main thing was completing training and being done. And then once I was done and had this dream job, I saw it kind of crumble in front of me, which made me appreciate not only having the job, but all the things that go into it to making me who I am. So what I want to talk about is, how do you nurture that gift, or how do you nurture that blessing that you've been given? So I want to use another example. I like using my children as examples. So last year, my daughter was very excited when she made the junior high basketball team, a goal that she had for herself. But when she achieved that goal, the first month of practice was not about basketball. First month of practice was boot camp. It was all conditioning. So they're going to be good and bad, right? And we have to take it all together. So people that are graduating, going into residency, or finishing your residency, going into your new job, I want you to realize that there's going to be the good that you dreamed of, but there's also another side of it, which might not be as glorious. It might not be something that you can post on social media. The late nights, the early mornings, the mistakes that you're going to make, not necessarily getting along with maybe some of your classmates or some of your co-residents or some of your colleagues at work. That all comes along with it. If we know those steps are there and we don't undergo them, then can we be upset when we don't have the results or the outcomes that we want? So this goes back to the atomic habits of goals versus systems. So in Atomic Habits, he said, if you ignore your goals but focus on your systems, are you likely to still achieve those goals? Versus if you focus strictly on your goals and ignore the systems or ignore those steps that are required to take you to that next level, will you still achieve your goals? So I feel that focusing on those day-to-day steps or those putting systems in place to make you successful is even more important than writing down a list of dreams or writing down a list of goals. So you're going to have to put in the grunt work. You're going to have to do some of the things that nobody else wants to do to get to that next place, that next step, be able to go to the next level. And I feel that many times that's overlooked because there's definitely hustle that has to be done to help you get to that next level, to help you become that doctor that you want to be, to help you become the business person or the entrepreneur that you want to be. Many times we complain about the mundane things that we have to do in our day-to-day lives or in our careers to help us become that many people want to claim to be. I was on a call the other day and someone said, I'm starting to get in my feelings because I'm not getting the results that I want. But at the same time, in the next breath said, I know I'm not doing the things that I need to do to get those results. So if we know that there are steps that we have to go through to achieve what we want, or to become that person or that position or that parent or that husband or wife that we want, if we know those steps are there and we don't undergo them, then can we be upset when we don't have the results or the outcomes that we want? Don't be complacent. Be proud of yourself, but don't be complacent. Because when you become complacent and when you become comfortable, that's when growth can be halted. So I was sitting on a panel recently with high school and college students, and one student stood up and said, what would you tell your younger self? And I was the last person on the panel, so I had plenty of time to think about it. And as I heard other people present and tell stories about what they would tell themselves, I continued to think of other things that I would tell myself. But the main thing is you are enough. The journey is what's making you into the better individual that you want to be. When you have those dreams in hand, what are you going to do with them? Are you going to take them for granted? Are you going to put them on the shelf and just look at them like a trophy? Or are you going to continue to work to get better, work to achieve that next level? Or are you just going to be complacent and be happy that you achieved what you have currently? What happens when your dreams become reality? But I want you to take a moment, because I think many times in life, we don't take the time to appreciate what we've accomplished or what we achieved. And I think that's very important. I know that I'm guilty of that sometimes, that I will just keep my head down and keep churning and not really give myself credit for the distance that I've traveled or the goals that I've achieved along the way. When Noah Harris was on the podcast, one thing that he said that really stuck with me, he said that the destination is the journey, because many times we're so focused on what's next, where we're going, that we fail to appreciate just the day-to-day process of becoming better, or the day-to-day work that we have to put in.
Now I better understand what affirmations are. And I do them with my children. We do them as a family, because I want them to understand that you have to speak life over yourself. Words are powerful. And if you're not telling yourself what you can do, you can't expect the world to have your back. So I'd like to take you through a little exercise, if you don't mind. I would first, I'm not going to ask you to stand up, but just repeat after me, and we're going to go through some of my favorite affirmations. So number one, I am powerful. Can you just say that? All right, that was all right. But I don't think you really believe that, and I know the enemy didn't believe that. I am powerful. Good, good. I am strong. I can do hard things. I'm a game changer. Excellent, excellent. I'm going to leave you with my favorite one. I give up being perfect for being authentic. Thank you very much. That's my time.